Avenger is a very, very brave move on Jeep's part. They're doing a small electric car. It's an EV. That is an SUV. And like all Jeeps, it's got little Easter eggs all over the place, like up here on the windscreen, where there's a little man looking through a telescope. And down here in the grille, where it's a little Jeep. Avenger is still every bit a Jeep. I mean, I think it's adorable. It is so achingly cute. It makes you want to cuddle it. It's got all the latest ADAS features. It's got a 54 kilowatt hour battery and 115 kilowatts worth of power driving the front wheels. There's a hidden door handle in the back door. Now that seat's set for me. There is no way in the wide world I can sit in there. There is a USB in the back for a smaller Earthchild, I would say, should you have any of those. The back is clearly marked as an EV with a little blue E, but other than that, that looks just like a standard Jeep. And if you ask my opinion, I think the stylists have done a really great job. Have a look at the size of this sunroof. It is this whole piece which slides up and over the top. This does have gesture control, but I found a little tricky to work with. And in the back, there's just enough room for a couple of smallish bags, and under the floor, your cables. I've had some trouble getting this electric tailgate to close. It doesn't seem to want to do it no matter what I do. So I've had to wave my foot under it. No, that still didn't work. No, it just won't work. So I've had to close it manually. And that's been almost every time I've gone to use it. Inside the front, there is a little bit more room. There's still quite a lot of scratchy plastic. And over here on the doors, but I quite like this trim. I don't usually like metallized trim, but I think this looks rather smart. Down here are some of the lesser used controls, like downhill descent. Overhead, the massive sunroof. The driver's screen, forgive the reflection, has the topographic map on it, which I suspect is the Rubicon Trail. The center console has a bin that's enormous, a couple of USBs. Now remember, only one of those connects to the sound system. And some of these controls are beginning to look like things out of other Stellantis models, like Fiat. This is from Fiat. And up here, these look a little bit Peugeot Citroën. These, however, look more like Volkswagen, which is not a Stellantis group car. The Uconnect system is relatively easy to work. I've had to turn the CarPlay off just for the time being. You press these buttons to get through to the other controls. There's Hey Jeep, and these are the ADAS. Cancel. It's still asking for help. These are the settings here for things like navigation, phone, media, radio, etc. And I've got to say, the sound system in this is absolutely brilliant. Then behind the console, we've got drive modes and the parking brake. And the good thing about the parking brake with most Jeeps is, in fact most latest cars, is that once you press and hold the off button, it turns the car off, puts it into park, although technically speaking, electric cars don't have park, and activates the handbrake. Steering wheel controls are fairly straightforward. This is a handy one. Push that and it brings up the shortcuts you've got, and these are the highway assist controls. The radio favorites are a little bit difficult to manipulate. If you go into the radio, you'll see that there's stations, and you make them favorites by pressing and holding the heart button, or by going to the favorites page and pressing and holding whatever station you've got playing. You can program it to that button. But there's nowhere here, not in any of the menus, where you can get rid of all of the favorites. And when I picked this car up, it had about 40 programmed in. So it was going to drive me bananas. The only way I could do it was to program the one station on all of them, and then just keep pressing until the heart light went out, and then press it one more time to save it just the once. So that's a top tip if you need one. The stalks are fairly straightforward. And of course this has automatic everything, wipers and lights and so forth. All right, let's set off. I'm just going to give this a press. And this is also where you put on the regenerative braking as well. You just give the drive button a second press. Releases the handbrake. And I've got this in sport just to give it a little bit of extra pep. There it comes. There's the extra pep. Now the interesting thing about this is I've been using this all week just as I would if it was my own car. Thing is, I'm just at 51%. I've only got a few more chores left to do. Handling, well, it's fairly neutral. This is a front-wheel drive car, so the engine is in the front, or the motor I should say is in the front, and it's a little light when you accelerate. Let's watch the steering wheel. So it is fairly touchy. It's a bit of a hot day. I've got the interior cover open on the sunroof, so it is a little warm in here. Don't let anybody tell you that those tinted windows for sunroofs block out a lot of heat. I mean, they just don't. I'm going to turn on the highway assist. Okay. Right, I've got that on. It's very easy to turn the steering assist off. I turned this off before. I'm not quite used to the system yet. And I pressed the assist button, which turned off the steering assist. If you want it on, you've got to make sure that the steering wheel symbol is here in the middle of the dash. So at highway speed, this is very smooth and very, very quiet. The loudest thing that I can hear right now is the air coming out of the vents. If the automatic steering is on, I always make sure I've got a firm grip of the steering wheel. May look like I'm not holding it at times, but I am. The range when I picked this up was around 400 kilometers. The fastest charging is 100 kilowatts. So it's probably going to take half an hour-ish to charge this 54 kilowatt hour battery. It still weighs a lot, and you can feel it, especially when you go over bumps in corners. I think at the end of the day, this small SUV, electric or not, is going to be used like I'm using it now, and that's to do city chores. That's the other thing, is that this is not an EV dedicated platform. In other words, there are cars on this platform but are not EVs. So it doesn't have a flat floor, or as flat as most EVs do. That was my foot flat to the floor, so you can see takeoffs are a leisurely affair. The indicators are very, very loud. So there's thump, tick, thump, tick, thump, tick. I think that'd get a bit annoying after a while. So let's summarize the Avenger. It is a very cool, very cute little car. Absolutely adorable. The battery seems to have decent range, 400 kilometers. It could be a little bit longer. The interior, it's very cozy. Very cozy. I love the heated seats. The air conditioning is absolutely excellent. There isn't anything I really dislike. I think if I'm being honest, some parts of it feel a bit cheap. Like this headlining, for example, feels like felted cardboard, and I've never liked that anywhere, and it certainly doesn't belong in a car that's got a retail price with a 6 in front of it. And that's all this week from the cute as a button Jeep Avenger. It looks like somebody washed a Cherokee and it shrunk. But there is no replacement for the Grand Cherokee now. There's only the Cherokee. And I think Jeep's got a few holes in its lineup, but it's not the only Stellantis brand that's having a few issues. As always, hit like, leave a comment, and just over there to subscribe.